This morning, TikTok's last hope. What comes next for the popular social media platform?
Plus, your tax dollars at work, MMSD's progress 2 months after voters approved a massive referendum. Good Friday morning and welcome to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Kyrie Lee.
I'm Chris Stanford. Have you thought any more about our big question of the day, which is to fill viewers in? Like, would you rather it be 110 degrees outside?
Like the heat index?
Right? Or wind chills of 30 below, like we're set to experience here in a couple of days.
I'm sticking with the heat still. I'm sorry. I don't know. I can't. I just can't. Like if I had to choose, I'd probably have to just go with the heat. Because I can just go in and just chill out. Like it takes a long time to recover from the cold after you've been out there.
No good option here.
I mean, both are not, yeah, I don't know. Both aren't great.
I think I'd deal with the cold. You can always put more layers on.
Is that Savannah? Are you still sticking with your answer?
Oh, absolutely. It's without a doubt. I'd rather have a heat index value up to 110 than as low as the wind chills we're going to experience. It's all relative, I guess. I'll have to ask everyone again when it's summer and we're dealing with the heat, but it is going to be dangerously cold out there. So if you absolutely have to be out, not today, enjoy the 40s while we are going to see them. But the days to follow, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, the mornings especially are going to be very cold. We're at 29 right now, so it's not bad this morning. We still have wind chills factored in about 10 to 15 degrees cooler. With the winds, those are gusting up to about 30 to 35 miles per hour, and that's not necessarily going to change at least a whole lot going forward today. And some areas northwest, just like yesterday, are sitting close to freezing levels. So we are seeing improvements, but that's not going to last that long, guys.
All right, talk to you soon. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court could issue an opinion this morning on the TikTok ban, which is set for Sunday. It's probably the social media platform's last hope of remaining in U.S. app stores.
A brief delay might be possible, though. The White House says President Joe Biden will leave implementation up to the Trump administration. Inauguration Day is Monday, so that could postpone enforcement by 1 day. President-elect Donald Trump says he wants to review the ban. That doesn't mean he can unilaterally override the law Congress passed, though. A bill from some Senate Democrats to postpone the ban appears dead. TikTok's parent company could stop the ban by selling the app to a non-Chinese owner, but that hasn't happened.
Both sides have now agreed on a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas that is set to begin early next week. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says that he'll meet with his security cabinet and government to officially approve the long-awaited deal. Meanwhile, huge blasts lighting up the sky in Gaza. Hamas officials say Israeli strikes have killed dozens of Palestinians since the deal was first announced yesterday. The fighting will stop, though, under the first 6-week phase of the agreement. During that time, 33 hostages will be released in exchange for nearly 1,000 Palestinians held in Israel prisons. New this morning, President Joe Biden granting clemency for nearly 2,500 nonviolent drug offenders in his final days in office. This decision will benefit federal prisoners convicted of crack cocaine-related crimes who have been serving disproportionately long sentences compared to those convicted of powder cocaine charges. This reflects changes in the law aimed at reducing racial disparities. Recent round of clemency gives Biden the presidential record for most individual pardons and commutations issued.
A new look at the destruction from the Palisades fire. Drone footage shows the widespread devastation. Firefighters are making progress against the Palisades and Eden fires, two of the largest fires ravaging the region. Some evacuated residents and business owners were allowed to return to survey what's left yesterday. FEMA disaster recovery centers are helping those impacted. Meanwhile, a pair of massive concerts are being planned to raise money for Los Angeles fire victims. It will include performances from Billie Eilish, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, and Stevie Nicks. It will be live streamed on most of the major apps.
To some local news this morning. Planning is underway to upgrade several Madison schools. It's part of that $500 million referendum the voters approved in November. The tax dollars will replace or renovate 10 schools at 7 different sites. MMSD says they're in the preliminary gathering phase of design specifications. The executive director of building services says taxpayers are at the center of the project.
It's not our money, right? It's the taxpayers' money. So we got to make sure we get the value that the taxpayers want. It's important for us to give back, and we want to make sure that we're showing good due diligence and the public see that we're here for the long run.
The district will release a report every month to update taxpayers on the project. There will be public input sessions as well. There's one scheduled for March 11th and the 12th. Phase 1 includes Sherman Shabazz and Blackhawk Gompers. Those new schools are scheduled to be finished by October of 2027.
Meanwhile, residents in the village of Cottage Grove will see a referendum on their April ballot. The question will ask whether or not to support an increase in the village's annual tax levy. This would cover the cost of constructing and operating the village's first public library. If approved, the village would increase the tax levy in 2026 and every year going forward by $1.3 million.
Construction, really common in downtown Madison. So what's coming up this year? Well, on the UW campus, there is a new engineering building scheduled, as well as a new computer data science and a new computer data and information sciences building. Levi Hall and a new football practice facility are also on the books. Work on the Wisconsin History Center on State Street is going to continue, and phase 1 of the Madison Lakeway project will get underway, along with tons of housing.
Some people might say, why do they keep approving all these apartments? Don't we have enough apartments already? Not really.
The city has the 3rd lowest vacancy rate in the country, behind New York City and Providence, Rhode Island. So the city's needing thousands of new units just to keep up with population growth. James Langer from the city, who you just heard from there, says that they want new developments to be part of neighborhoods. That means more shops, groceries, and other elements a community needs.
Since the December Abundant Life school shooting, there have been incidents at other schools that are giving parents a cause for concern. This week, a Monona Grove student posted guns on social media, and Beaver Dam High School responded to a burn list posted by a student. Both instances were classified as not credible. Brian Landers, a law enforcement expert, says when schools are notified of threats, they contact law enforcement first.
They're going to put plans in place that they presumably have already discussed and trained with the school districts, which could be potential lockdowns, may mean evacuations, may mean more officers present at the school.
After that, an investigation begins. Experts say parents should be proactive and have conversations with their kids to keep everyone safe.
A fight over power made its way to the state Supreme Court. The state agency that licenses therapists wants to ban the practice of conversion therapy that targets LGBTQ Wisconsinites. The question is whether the Democratic-led state agency can set that rule, or if it needs to go to the Republican-controlled state legislature. Liberal Justice Jill Karofsky argued that it's a no-brainer, while conservative Justice Rebecca Bradley says it shouldn't be a policy decision.
So under your interpretation of the statutes, less than a handful of unchecked legislators, 4 people, can shelve a rule that stops therapists from subjecting children to horrors like corrective rape and exorcism.
Nowhere do I see that the people ever consented to being governed by an administrative state instead of their elected representatives in the legislature.
At the time, the court has a liberal majority, so we could expect them to uphold the power of that state agency.
Wisconsin Congressman Glenn Grothman joined the Department of Government Efficiency caucus. It's a new government department proposed by President-elect Donald Trump. Trump tapped tech billionaire Elon Musk and former GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy to lead the department. Grothman serves Wisconsin's 6th district, which includes parts of Portage and Columbia. 6:07 this morning, a smoke alarm is being recalled.
Time to check in with our consumer reporter, Michelle Renee Quinn. All right, what do consumers need to know this morning, Michelle Renee?
Chris, Kyrion, the recalled smoke alarms are 361 sold by HSN. More than 300,000 Samurai Mini smoke alarms are being recalled. Now, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says the alarms can malfunction and fail to alert users of a fire. This poses a risk of injury or death, and owners of the recalled alarm can contact maker 361 for a free replacement. Now, 361 has received 8 reports of the alarms failing to activate in the presence of smoke, but no injuries have been reported.
All right, important information. Michelle Renee, thank you. In health news this morning, the CDC is issuing an alert on a few mysterious cases of bird flu. People tested positive without any known exposure to animals. The agency urged doctors and hospitals to perform advanced testing called subtyping. Doctors say the risk of bird flu infections remains low, though, for the general public. So far, about 100,000 Americans have been hospitalized with type A flu this season.
See, it's just everything's going around right now, so just be vigilant. Well, let's check in with Savannah. What's coming up?
3 alert days in a row, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We'll talk about which day could be the worst.
And in the 608 this morning, we're talking about Madison Restaurant Week. It kicks off this Sunday. We're going to talk about just how many restaurants are participating when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
We're back at 6:12 on your Friday in the 608. We are helping you get ready for Winter Restaurant Week in Madison, which is just a couple of days away.
That's right. Josh Prider is here with what you need to know before you go out and support your favorite local businesses. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Friday. So it's one of our favorite weeks of the winter, and there's even more buzz surrounding Madison Restaurant Week this morning. You have even more options this time around. Our partners at Madison Magazine put on 2 restaurant weeks every year, one in the summer and one in the winter. Since the pandemic, Madison Restaurant Week continues to grow. It's an opportunity for businesses to showcase their best menu items, with some trying new things too. This week, there are 43 participating locations. Madison Magazine editor Andy Baling tells me that is the most they've had since before COVID. So here's how Restaurant Week works. On channel3000.com, you'll find a running list of all the 43 restaurants taking part. Starting at $30, those restaurants offer a menu with 3 courses, some locations even offering a lunch menu for $20. Just make sure to get those reservations ahead of time if you can. Restaurant Week runs Sunday to Friday, so plenty of time to get out and support your favorites, or perhaps maybe try a new option. And coming up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to be trying out some new options as well. So
I'm excited
give you a
to
little
see.
taste. I hope I'm going to be getting a taste. That's kind of my
I think this is the best opportunity to try out those new
big time.
places. Madison Magazine does a great job of picking out the new places and adding them to the list. And it's kind of like a low risk thing. Like, you don't have to go like all out with the bill or anything. You get a little bit of a discount. You go try something new, make a night out of it, make a lunch date out of it. That's what I love about this.
And not often that you can get like that 3-course meal, you know, so you can actually sit down, enjoy it, and have a glass of wine with it. I mean, it sounds pretty nice.
So it sounds like you got it all planned.
Oh, I do.
Are you
Yeah,
ready?
we already
You're
have
ready to
reservations.
go.
Monday night we're going out, so I'm excited for
right.
that.
Okay, there you have it. And remember, you can still win those restaurant bucks also on the website. Just got to visit our website, Channel 3000.
Yeah, get it on us. You going to tell us which ones you're going to next week?
So Monday, we're starting with Cadre on Monday, so that'll be the first one.
Okay, I've never heard of that one,
I'm
so
already
hey,
hungry.
there you go. All right, well, Josh, thank you.
You bet.
Let's go Restaurant Week.
All right, let's check in with Savannah now. Look at your first warn forecast. Early next week, if you are headed out to eat, that's when those cold temperatures are going to be at their coldest.
Yeah, the winter hat, gloves, coat, boots, everything. Make sure you're dressed accordingly. Not necessarily this afternoon. We'll climb all the way to 41, so enjoy the warmer weather. Get out and about, go for a walk while we have the very mild weather. That all changes as early as tomorrow. Breezy conditions, though, we'll still have wind chills factored in today, just not as low as what's to come. 16 the actual air temperature Saturday. That's down to 1 Sunday, 0 Monday, and 3 on Tuesday. Those days we will not ever reach a positive wind chill value, and 0, although that's the forecast high Monday, there will be areas that don't even reach that. Our average high 27. So winds still going to gust all day long up to about 30 to 35 miles per hour. When you factor in the wind chill this afternoon, it'll feel about 30 to 35, so about 10 or so degrees below what our air temperature will reach. And this evening we might see a flurry, stray shower, no accumulation expected, and we're not going to see any measurable rain, but a couple of dots, you see those popping up on radar as we head for later this evening into tonight. And then late tonight into early tomorrow morning, that's when sky conditions clear, temperatures drop, and low wind chills that could be down to negative 25 to negative 30, not Saturday night into Sunday, but Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Those are your 3 alert days when it's going to be the coldest and most dangerous. When you have wind chills that are forecast as low as what we're going to see, frostbite can happen in as little as about 10 or so minutes. This blue bar is the air temperature, and then the wind chill. I did include that temperature, the high for the day, but then the wind chill is the lowest wind chill we'll see, and that'll be in the early morning hours. So negative 5 or so Saturday, negative 20 on Sunday, and then we'll probably at least be down to negative 25 Monday and Tuesday, although north and northwest of Madison, there could be a few areas that get close to negative 30. Silver lining though, our days eventually getting longer and longer. Today's sunset 4:49, that goes all the way back to 5:18 on February 8th, March 10th, 6:59, and then 7:30 just after that on April 10th. So we are starting to see longer days and later sunsets. Those alert days, though, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, your lows those nights, -3, -9, and -11.
The Wisconsin men's basketball team arrived in LA on Thursday for their week-long trip where they'll face USC and then UCLA. And on the flight over, the Badgers had some time to reflect on their latest win. You know, the one where they saw a 17-point halftime lead shrink to a one-possession game with seconds to play. Well, it's an experience this group says they plan on learning from.
Sign of a good team when maybe it's shots aren't falling tonight, or there's foul trouble or certain things, or maybe you're not guarding how you want. But you just find a way to win in the end, and I think it was good for us at the end to go through that little stretch.
Good to know that, you know, any lead is not, you know, you can't sit on it, and teams can at this level always come back. It seems like so. It's always good, you know, to come out here and get a win and get this experience as well.
Top two teams in the Big Eight going at it in boys hoops. Sun Prairie East taking on Verona. Wildcats got off to a good start. Cameron Williams gets up to rock the rim. Verona led by 2 at the break, but you might have heard about Chris Davis Jr. from Sun Prairie East. The dude is an absolute bucket. First, he takes it to the cup with ease, and then later, how about a little step back triple jack? He tied a career high with 61 points. Sun Prairie East makes a statement and hands Verona their first loss in conference play. 98-78 was the final. The Wisconsin men's hockey team returns to the ice this week for a series against Long Island, and that means it's another opportunity to see one of the best lines in the country. Quinn Finley, Gavin Morrissey, and Rylan Mosley have been just hard to stop this season. Finley leads the nation in goals and points, while Morrissey has the NCAA lead in points as a freshman. But the trio, well, they've combined for 75 points and have no plans on slowing down.
One word that comes to mind for me is just consistency. And I mean that not just on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, Thursdays when we've played games. I'm talking Monday through Sunday.
All three of us, like you said, don't get satisfied. Like, we always want more. And I think when you play with guys like that, it's the chemistry comes naturally.
And our guest for next week's huddle is Wisconsin women's hockey star Casey O'Brien. And remember, you can come out to a live taping of the show Monday, January 20th at Pooley's in Madison. We hope to see you there on Monday at 6:45. Well, that's it for morning sports. Have a great day.
Well, still ahead, the hottest housing markets, the Wisconsin cities that made the list, and which community in the region came out on top.
We're back right after this.
6:23, this photo now from Lisa. She says it was a gorgeous sunset on Tuesday. And look at all the pretty colors in the sky. Got the isn't it like some snow coverage out there?
Looks
got
like it's
just the perfect scene.
And the barn.
And the barn. Your face.
Another Wisconsin photo right there.
Silo and the barn.
It's like that cotton candy sky.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
love
my
it.
favorite.
It's beautiful.
Some of that last night, too.
Yes, there was.
Lisa, thank you.
Yes.
Well, trending this morning, Realtor.com is out with its list of the hottest housing markets in the U.S. And at the top of the list is Rockford, Illinois.
Really?
Good old Rockford.
That's right. So this is the hottest list. Maybe not like, you know, the best or whatever, but this is the hottest. So it's they're going fast. The average Rockford home right now is going for $242,000. It's spending about 40 days on the market, which is less than the 70-day national average. Some Wisconsin markets that made the list include Milwaukee, which came in at number 11, Oshkosh at number 10, and Racine came in at number 8. Savannah, you spent some time in Rockford. What do you think about this?
She didn't even live in the city.
No, I actually lived,
She lived in Wisconsin.
That's right.
She still lived in Wisconsin, even working in Rockford.
So it doesn't even count. She just
I
worked
feel like
there.
that tells you something right there.
I liked working in Rockford because it was close to home.
Yeah.
But I'm still thankful that Madison's only like an hour and a half for my parents. It's super nice.
It's a nice city, but it's no Madison.
I'm saying, yeah, and Madison's homes aren't 242,000.
No,
I'm sure.
that's the other thing.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I do think this
Nowhere
is
close.
a
It's all
lovely
about the price.
Yeah, and it's a lovely story because Rockford was hit really, really hard about 15 years ago during the financial crisis, and to see them turning things around and now being named one of the hottest, I think is remarkable. So way to go, Rockford. Oh, how about this? Progresso out with something new. Chicken noodle soup drops. They're hard candy that tastes like soup. Limited edition, only available this month. Progresso says it is soup you can suck on.
No.
What a slogan.
Soup you can suck on.
There you go.
Yuck.
Say that again.
I love me some soup, but I don't think I'm going to be...
Maybe you can warm it up.
Come on, you got a cold, the flu, maybe.
Oh.
It just sounds nasty.
I'd rather actually eat the soup.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, no.
All right, we're tracking those frigid temperatures and those alert day forecasts when we come back. Don't go anywhere. This morning, remembering Mr. Baseball. We look back at Bob Uecker's life and accomplishments and hear reaction to the legendary commentator's passing.
Also this morning, will the Leinenkugel brothers save their brewery? Hear from them, plus what could come next.
Well, good Friday morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Unley. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. Sad news because the Progresso soup drops are sold out.
Oh, no.
But they said not for long. We can check in back next Thursday.
Maybe
I'm seriously wanting to try these.
Maybe they'll brew up a new batch.
Exactly. Yeah. If you weren't watching just a few minutes ago, Progresso has dropped some soup drops. And, they're coming in form like of a cough drop almost.
It's chicken soup and a hard candy.
Yeah.
Just like we've been asking for so many years. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get back to the big story of the day. Get to it. Nice temperatures today. Short-lived, though. I mean, let's talk about how fast these temps are going to drop, Savannah.
Yeah, I mean, literally as early as tonight into tomorrow, we're already going to see major, I'm trying to think of the word, not improvements, but the exact opposite. We're going to see the downswing of things. It's going to feel very awful outside, dangerous cold. Not necessarily tonight into tomorrow, but when you factor in the wind chills after that, Sunday night through Tuesday night, those are going to be very, very cold. 19 right now, that's what it feels like outside, although our air temperature is closer to 30. Not bad, but it's very, very breezy outside. Winds have been gusting all night long up to about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So that's why we still are talking about wind chills, just not as low as what we're going to see going forward. 16 tomorrow, after that 40 we'll see this afternoon, and then 1 only on Sunday. We'll talk about if Monday could be colder and when we'll see improvements come back across southern Wisconsin. I'll have that coming up in a bit, guys.
All right, thanks, Savannah. Well, this morning, a local voice, a legend, the sound of summer, is no longer with us.
Longtime Milwaukee Brewers radio commentator Bob Uecker died yesterday at the age of 90. His family says he died of small cell lung cancer. Uecker was born in Milwaukee and signed with the city's team, which at the time was the Braves. He reached the majors in 1962 and played there for 6 seasons. Uecker would later on go to have a successful career in broadcasting and entertainment. Many know him for his role as Harry Doyle in the Major League trilogy. Johnny Carson called him Mr. Baseball. And that's perhaps what he most lived up to, going on to be the radio voice of the Brewers for over a half-century.
Among Uecker's recognitions, the National Sportscasters and Sports Writers Association named him Sportscaster of the Year 5 times. They inducted him into its Hall of Fame in 2011. National Radio Hall of Fame inducted him in 2001. A couple years later, he won the Ford C. Frick Award for major contributions to baseball. And at American Family Field, Mr. Baseball is in the Ring of Honor and Wall of Honor.
Nobody's bigger than Bob. There's just no question about it. And you know what? He would never want it that way. He never acted that way. He just enjoyed life so much. You just couldn't help feeling that aura around him. And it was always positive. It was always humorous. And just to be in a spot where I became a friend ended up being the real dream come true for me.
A statement from the Brewers reads in part, quote, saying goodbye to Bob shakes us all. He was so much more than a Milwaukee Brewers icon. He was a national treasure. We are left with a giant void in our hearts, but also remember the laughter and joy he brought us.
Statement from the governor says that for more than 50 years, Bob brought the magic of the ballpark to life for so many. And I'm sure I speak for Brewers fans everywhere when I say we would gladly have him for 50 more. Fans we heard from feel the same way.
Having him stay here, despite all his, other achievements that he's done, I think just shows just the heart that he has as a true Milwaukeean.
Milwaukee Brewers are going to announce details at a later date for a public celebration of Bob Uecker's life.
6:33 from one Wisconsin staple to another. The Leinenkugel brewery in Chippewa Falls is set to close its doors today, but the former presidents of the brewery are working to stop the move. Brothers Jake and Dick Leinenkugel recently submitted a proposal to Molson Coors. It would begin discussions about acquiring the brewery through a non-disclosure agreement. On January 6th, they say Molson Coors denied the request. 2 days later, the family again reached out expressing their desire to purchase the brewery. As of Wednesday, the brothers have not received a response.
We remain optimistic that Molson Coors leadership will reconsider our proposal and that they will want to engage in meaningful discussions about restoring brewing operations.
Dick says he does not know what Molson Coors plans to do with the large brewery space. Molson Coors has said it plans to keep the Leine's Lodge and Pilot Brewery open. If the Leinenkugel family is able to purchase the brewery back, it would need to be a separate company.
State officials here confirming the season's first death of a child from influenza. Nationwide this season, the flu has killed 16 children. The DHS says respiratory illnesses are currently at a high level in Wisconsin. Everyone 6 months and older is encouraged to get vaccinated against the flu and COVID-19. DHS also recommending the RSV vaccine for infants, those aged 8 months or younger, as well as those 9 to 19 months with an increased risk for RSV. They should also be getting the vaccine.
For only the second time since Martin Luther King Jr. Day was established in 1983, another federal holiday will also fall on that day. It's also the presidential inauguration. 250,000 ticketed guests will pack the Central Mall in Washington, D.C. to witness Donald Trump's second inauguration. But the daughter of MLK Jr. hopes the focus will remain on her father's legacy. She says she wants people to remember the lessons the civil rights icon taught the nation.
I know we're inaugurating a new administration, but don't forget Dr. King. Don't forget that they showed us that it is possible to keep moving forward and fighting for freedom, justice, and democracy, cultivating it, protecting it, and advancing it.
Dr. Bernice King will not attend the inauguration on Monday. She will be in Atlanta, Georgia at Ebenezer Baptist Church for the King holiday service.
And as Trump's inauguration approaches, confirmation hearings for his cabinet picks continue. Across 4 Senate hearing rooms, more nominees testified under oath yesterday. They include the nominees for Treasury Secretary, Department of Interior, the EPA, and Housing and Urban Development. Democratic senators grilled former New York Congressman Lee Zeldin, selected to lead the EPA, on climate change. Meanwhile, Trump pick for Interior Secretary says there is a risk to the environment and security if America doesn't lead in energy production.
When energy production is restricted in America, it doesn't reduce demand. It just shifts productions to countries like Russia and Iran, whose autocratic leaders not only don't care at all about the environment, but they use their revenues from energy sales to fund wars against us and our allies.
Meantime, Trump's Treasury Secretary nominee testified that he supports increasing sanctions on Russia over the war in Ukraine. The nominee to lead HUD said the country still needs millions of more homes to address the housing crisis. Happening today, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem will testify. She's selected to lead the Department of Homeland Security.
Well, let's switch gears here. With the temperatures about to bottom out in a couple of days, now's the time to start preparing.
Our consumer reporter Michelle Renee Quinn is here to explain what steps that you can take to take care of your car for these cold temperatures. Hey there.
Chris, Kyrian, good morning. Now, most people know to keep at least half a tank of gas in their car when temperatures get this low, and most people also like to let their car warm up before driving it. That is actually bad for your car. Luke Whetstone with Badger City Auto says there's no need to let your car sit for more than a minute when it's cold.
Let it only run for maybe about a minute and then warm it up by driving it. When the car is idle, the oil's not properly lubricating everything. And honestly, it lubricates the best by driving it a little bit. So, honestly, the best way would be to start your car, let it run for 30 seconds, a minute, and then drive it to warm it up.
Aside from taking care of your engine, Whetstone suggests making sure you have a strong battery. You can get it tested when you take your car in for an oil change. You also want to make sure you have good wiper blades and the proper windshield wiper fluid, and that's heavy duty or the extreme cold formula. Finally, make sure your tires are ready for the winter. You'll slip all over with bald tires, so you want to check that grip. If you can grip your tires and there's tread on the edges of the tires, you're good. And one more tip, make sure you have enough coolant in your reservoir tank. Having low coolant when temperatures are freezing can make it hard for you to start your car, and it won't allow your heater to work properly. And trust me, those are problems you don't want to have.
No, you don't want to spend more money than you have to this winter season.
Exactly.
Michelle Renee, thank you. Well, with the polar vortex coming this weekend, it is important for people to take precautions to keep themselves and their pets safe. Doctors at SSM Health recommend people wear dry and breathable first layers and add on with clothing that can break the wind chill. If you are going to be outside, a good cutoff for people is 30 minutes. When it comes to pets, Lisa Bernard from the Dane County Humane Society says if it feels like 20, you can take your pet outside for 15 minutes or less. But once it feels like 0 degrees, she says the time goes down to 5 minutes.
Once they start lifting that paw off the ground to show that they're cold, it's time that they've had enough time to go inside. Just keeping it super brief. I mean, they have to go to the bathroom.
For more information about the dangers and symptoms of hypothermia and frostbite, you can visit our website, channel3000.com. Lots of important information here. But coming up after the break, new statistics on cancer rates among younger people in America and how to protect yourself.
And today will be the warmest day. The temperatures drop off as early as tomorrow and especially Sunday through Tuesday. Those are your alert days.
Plus, Winter Restaurant Week about to get underway in the 608. I have a preview of all of the participants happening starting Sunday.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Welcome back. There's some alarming new data in from the American Cancer Society. It reveals young women are almost twice as likely to be diagnosed with cancer as young men. Doctors say for decades, men were more likely than women to get cancer, but now that's changing. Experts say this is especially true for young adults and younger women in particular. The report says women under 50 now have an 82% higher rate of cancer incidence than their male counterparts.
It does sound the alarm that patients, everybody, should be paying attention to the look and feel of their body and sharing with their doctors if anything seems off.
Doctors say there are ways to mitigate the risk of getting cancer. Get the HPV vaccine, get annual screenings, and know your cancer risk and family history.
Well, this is interesting. Scientists say they have some new insight into Alzheimer's disease and its potential treatments. They found this using virtual reality goggles for mice. Researchers at Cornell University developed the tiny VR headsets to learn about a mouse's memory. The devices are strapped to a rodent, as you see here, and they run on a ball and maneuver obstacles and potential threats. Scientists are able to observe then how they deal with spatial navigation.
When they're in the goggles, it's very immersive, and it seems like they can really be tricked into thinking that this is a realistic situation. But yeah, it is very useful that they are tricked, and then we can do a lot of interesting experiments.
After scientists increased blood flow to the mouse's brain, they say memory function improved. Researchers are now working to create a VR headset to test on larger rodents.
Well, let's check in now with meteorologist Savannah Brito, who's here now with your first warned weather. How's the temperatures looking?
Looking great today, but then awful as early as tomorrow, especially by Sunday. Enjoy the 40s while we do have them today. Get out for a walk, something like that. Bask in the 40s we're going to see. We're still going to be breezy and have wind chills factored in today, but not nearly as low nor as dangerous as what's to come to follow that. So this afternoon, expect the upper 30s, lower 40s. Might see a little bit of sunshine. I still think we'll be dealing with a lot of cloud cover and winds that are going to gust up to about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Winds then back out of the northwest, pulling in that Arctic air from Canada. Can't completely rule out a couple of flurries and light sprinkles or areas of drizzle tonight. night, we're not looking at any accumulating snowfall or any measurable rainfall, just a couple of wet spots. You saw those dots on radar. Conditions clear out somewhat overnight. Expect partly cloudy skies, clearing further sunshine. That returns tomorrow and for your weekend and even into early next week, but the sun not going to help things feel any better outside. It'll still be very blustery out there. We're looking at temperatures in the teens tomorrow, but when you factor in the wind chills, those tomorrow probably going to get to positive values, at least during the afternoon briefly, and then they could be as low as -25 to -30. That's why we have alert days in the forecast. The criteria, though, we're probably definitely going to see a cold weather advisory at least, but to see the warning in place, you have to have those chills that are 30 or even below that. So not necessarily forecasting that, but in that threshold between -25 to -30, you can get frostbite in as little as about 10 minutes or less. So make sure that you're taking this seriously. It is going to be very dangerous Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, those mornings. The wind chills, though, going forward today, will still have one factored in, but at least we'll be in the 30s as far as those chills go. So about 10 degrees, 5 to 10 degrees cooler, and then much cooler already this evening. This is 9:30, showing some of us in the teens, a few single digits, and then some sub-zero to wake up early tomorrow morning. As we get later into the morning, this is 4. Once we get past that 7, 8, 9 a.m. time frame, most of us are looking at sub-zero chills. That's the lowest we'll go at least Saturday morning, but then like I mentioned, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, those are going to be lower. Even the air temperatures 4 nights in a row, Saturday night through Tuesday night, those alone will be sub-zero. But again, when you factor in the wind chill, we're talking about at least -20 to -25.
All right, dangerous. Good thing the kiddos have school off on Monday.
Yes.
Tuesday morning, though, it looks like those sub-zero wind chills are still going to be hanging around. It could impact school on Tuesday morning.
Delay or, even cancel maybe.
Well, we'll be sure to let you know.
Be out. Yes.
All right. Thanks, Savannah. All right, let's see what's going on in the 608 this morning. Hey, Winter Restaurant Week is about to get underway in Madison this weekend.
Hi, Josh Prider is here with what you need to know before you go out and support your favorite local businesses. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. It's one of our favorite weeks of the winter, and there's more buzz surrounding Madison Restaurant Week this morning. You have more options this time. Our partners at Madison Magazine put on 2 restaurant weeks every year, one in the summer and one in the winter. Since the pandemic, Madison Restaurant Week continues to grow. It's an opportunity for businesses to showcase their best menu items, with some trying some new things too. This week there are 43 participating locations. Madison Magazine editor Andy Bailing tells me that's the most they've had since before COVID. So we're looking at more than 5 years here, folks. Here's how Restaurant Week works. On channel3000.com, you'll find a running list of all of the 43 restaurants taking part this week. Starting at $30, those restaurants offer a menu with 3 courses, some locations even offering a lunch menu for $20. Just make sure to get those reservations ahead of time if you can. Restaurant Week runs Sunday to Friday, so plenty of time to get out and support your favorites, or perhaps maybe try a new option. And I'll be bringing some new options to you Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday right here on the morning show next week, which I'm super excited. I'm already hungry for it. So.
Tough job.
Tough job. Someone's got to do it.
Gig.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, somebody has to tell us how it's going out there at these restaurants, right?
Yeah, and this is just such a important time, especially like that post-holiday time, when a lot of these restaurants they're looking for some business. So this is a great way for people to get in the door.
Yeah, I'm excited to try out some new things this coming week, but it starts Sunday, so
starting Sunday.
Get ready.
48 hours.
All right.
All right.
Support local. Thanks, Josh.
You bet.
Josh is always looking for inspiration to share in the 608. Got an idea for him? Reach out and let him know about it.
Coming up in the morning sprint, a change coming for people who buy and sell digital assets.
And let's see. Do we got a little kiddo turning 3 soon today? No. If you've got a little kiddo turning 3 soon, here is how you get a hold of us. Send us their picture. We'll show it on TV. .53, time for the morning sprint.
A legendary local voice in sports has passed away. Longtime Milwaukee Brewers radio commentator Bob Uecker died yesterday at the age of 90. His family says he died of small cell lung cancer. Mr. Baseball, as he's often known, was the radio voice of the Brewers for 54 years. The Milwaukee Brewers will announce details at a later date for a public celebration of Bob Uecker's life.
U.S. Supreme Court could issue an opinion this morning on the fate of TikTok. That ban starts Sunday. The justices seem unlikely, though, to save the company. The White House, though, says the President Biden will leave implementation up to Trump. Inauguration Day is Monday, so that could postpone enforcement by a day. President-elect Donald Trump, though, says that he wants to review the ban.
The Madison Metropolitan School District is beginning to work on several buildings. That's after voters approved the largest school referendum in the state. The school board is expected to choose a construction management partner at its January 27th meeting. All three phases of the project are expected to be completed by October 2029.
Another referendum on its way to voters in Cottage Grove. Voters there are going to see it on the April ballot. They're going to decide whether or not to support an increase in the village's annual tax levy that would cover the cost of constructing and operating the village's first public library. If approved, the village would see increases on the tax levy in 2026 and every year going forward by $1.3 million.
The Leinenkugel brewery in Chippewa Falls is set to close its doors today. The former presidents of the brewery are working to stop the move. Brothers Jake and Dick Leinenkugel recently submitted 2 proposals to Molson Coors. The company denied the first request. They have not responded to the second one.
Wisconsin Congressman Glenn Grothman is going to be part of the caucus connected to the Department of Government Efficiency. That is the new department proposed by President-elect Donald Trump. He has tapped tech billionaire Elon Musk and former GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy to lead the department. Grothman serves Wisconsin's 6th district.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says there now is a hostage and ceasefire deal. This comes after a brief setback yesterday. Netanyahu says he will meet with his security cabinet and then government to officially approve the long-awaited deal. The fighting will stop under the first 6-week phase of the agreement.
If you buy and sell digital assets like Bitcoin, your transactions this year will be reported to the IRS for the first time. You and the IRS are both going to receive a new form called a 1099-DA from your broker early next year. You have to include information from the 1099-DA on your 2025 income tax return, which you'll file in 2026. If you don't include it, the IRS will notice because the agency will have the information at hand and use it to assess your tax obligation.
Well, temperatures still forecast to make it into the lower 40s this afternoon, and then the cool down. 16 Saturday, very cold weather Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, especially those mornings. Wind chills will be as low as about -25 at least.
Boy. All right, so just stay aware of that cold out there.
Yes, be prepared.
All right, we're back in 30 minutes with the news and weather update.